Alright, I'm going to quickly bring a site plan in here to give you a more contoured site plan, a little different than the urban flat one that we did previously. And it's going to be a drawing file, and we're going to link that drawing file in here and use it to create a Revit topography. It's one of the more common ways of doing it. So I'm going to, in order to get that AutoCAD drawing in, I'm going to link it. So I'm going to go to my site plan to do that. Again, we've got a little bit of room. We're about 200 feet up in the air. Then I'm going to go to link CAD. I prefer to link CAD instead of importing if it's an option, so I'm just going to go to link. And we're going to go ahead and use the lines clean drawing that I gave you. And so if you want to select that one, it's giving you different options for the import. So one of the most important is the positioning. So basically it's going to take the AutoCAD 00 origin and match it to the Revit 00 origin, which is that blue thing in the center. Sometimes with site files, if their original placement is geolocated, it will be very, very far away from 00. And so if you insert it, you won't be able to see it. It'll be out of scope. And so you may want to go in and change auto center to center and use that one. I've oriented this one for us in AutoCAD so it's a little closer. The other thing that can also happen is it can be very far from the zero plane of Revit, because at level 0, if your topography is way up in the air, you may have to sort of go and find it a little bit. And that auto center to center will help with that. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it at auto origin to origin and leave all of this intact. You can, if you wanted to, change the colors to black and white, but right now I need those colors. You can also invert them because AutoCAD is usually a black background and we're working on white, so sometimes the inversion helps. But I'm just going to click open here, and it's going to bring that topography in. And the first thing I want to do is orient it in the XY, because this is sort of the flat area that I want this building to be on. And this is a site that I've used in a previous project, and I've given you a link to some other commands that I'll go over a little bit here. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick it, unpin it, and while it's selected I'm going to go to the move, and I'm just going to move it, and notice that I'm moving the topography, I'm not moving the building. I just want to get it sort of centered on there. We can adjust it a little bit later. We're never going to move the building, we're going to adjust the topography in this case. But once I get it sort of where I want, I click OK. So we've got it oriented in the XY. So let's orient it in the Z. Okay, so if I go to my 3D view, you'll see this is an outline of the existing building that I actually drew in CAD. So if you're working in your file, it's really nice to somehow delineate where you think the finished floor might be, or the bottom of the slab in elevation, so you know where that is, so you're not sort of guessing. So I did that here, and you can see it's a little high, so if I was to start contouring, this contour would probably go right through the middle of the building. So I want to get it close. Again, we can adjust it a little bit later if we need to, but I do want to get it close. So we're going to adjust it in the XY. So I'm going to go to one of my elevations. So I'll go to my west elevation to do that. And if you zoom in, you can see there's a slight different color as well. So this is a purple line and this is a brown line. So that's the line that's kind of at 0. It would be really hard to tell often. In this view you can tell, but if I went to another one, sometimes the other contours, will get in the way and it'll be more difficult to see. Oops. All right. So it would be harder to tell here where that one is. So I'm just going to go back to my west elevation. And let's go ahead and move it into place. So I want to move this line a little bit lower than the finished floor. So I'm going to pick, go to the move command, and I'm going to pick that purple line, right? And I'm just going to move it to the top, and then I'm going to pick move again, and I'll just move it, and I can pull down, right, if I want to, or I could just type 6 inches, right, and it'll place that 6 inches down. Now if I click off of it, that line is about right. Again, you could adjust it a little bit later, even adjust the topography to accommodate that, but this is sort of the easiest way to do it. Now, we've got it in the X, Y, and Z. So if I go back to my 3D view, you can see that that line is now sort of poking right through, and we'll get probably a decent result from our contours. Okay? Alright, when I come back, we'll actually make the contour.